Let's get into it. Because when a man loves staying at home, people misunderstand him. They assume he's lazy, they assume he's lonely, they assume he's running from something. When in reality, he's just done with the noise. See, there comes a time in a man's life when unnecessary noise, company, and drama loses its thrill. He's not chasing every invitation. He's not glued to group chats, forcing connections that drain his energy. He's learned the difference between being alone and being at peace. A man who loves staying at home isn't antisocial, he's selective. He's seen enough of the world to know what really matters: peace, progress, and purpose. When you live in survival mode long enough, solitude becomes sacred. That's when you realize your home isn't just a place, it's your sanctuary. When a man starts to evolve, he stops needing constant validation. He's not chasing approval, he's not performing for attention. He's protecting something bigger than that. He's protecting his energy. People that thrive off of chaos can't understand that though. They need noise to distract them from themselves. But a man who's done his shadow work and faced himself, he can sit in silence for hours and it doesn't bother him. He's not hiding from his thoughts anymore. He's mastering them. There's power in a man that can be still, and stillness creates awareness. Awareness creates control. Most men never get to that point. They stay trapped in survival cycles, chasing escapes instead of facing what's really going on inside of them. They don't face their demons. But the one who does, he becomes dangerous. Not violent, but disciplined. Not loud, but focused. Because he doesn't need to announce peace. You can feel it on him. It radiates. When you love being at home, you start building your life differently, bro. You stop entertaining fake energy. You start cooking your own meals, curating your own environment, and organizing your space like it's a fortress. You realize peace is the most expensive thing in the world, and you can't afford to just give it away or lose that. You'll notice you start moving quieter. You'll stop explaining yourself. You'll stop showing up to prove a point. Because the only thing you're proving now is consistency. Because that's all that matters. When you love being at home, you see through the distractions. You understand that growth doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being centered. Every day becomes a mission. You wake up early, move with purpose, and keep your head down until the work is complete. That's not isolation, that's intention. The psychology behind a man who loves staying at home is rooted in self-control. He doesn't need external validation to feel valuable. He's not bored, he's building. He's not avoiding people, he's avoiding nonsense. Because once you've been through betrayal, burnout, and disappointment after disappointment, you start valuing peace like it's oxygen. You can't fake it anymore. You can't tolerate shallow company. You can't just sit around people that gossip, complain, or play victim. It's not pride, it's self-preservation. This is the kind of man that understands something most people never will. When your environment is chaotic, your mind follows. So he simplifies it. He declutters everything. He makes home sanctuary, not a hideout. Because when your home is peaceful, your thoughts start to organize themselves as well. Here's what most people won't admit. Peace requires sacrifice. To protect your energy, you have to let go of people who thrive off of dysfunction. You have to disappoint a few folks. You have to say no when your old self would have said yes just to feel included. That's the part that hurts at first, but eventually it's liberating Because the more you sit with yourself, the more you realize how much time you've wasted trying to be understood by people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You start to love yourself. And when you love staying at home, you're no longer chasing the world. You're creating your own. And that's where the beauty and the power of life begins. Every man that learns to love solitude becomes a creator of his own peace. He learns that silence heals. He learns that solitude sharpens. And he learns that not everyone deserves access to him. People used to laugh at the quiet ones, but the quiet ones are the thinkers, the builders, the planners. They're not stuck, they're strategizing. Because when the world gets loud, peace becomes a competitive advantage. And that's the secret. The man who can master boredom, master life. See, staying at home isn't just about four walls, it's about protecting your atmosphere. When you get your atmosphere right, everything else around it adjusts and aligns to it. Your sleep, your discipline, your ideas, your faith. That's what comes to grounded men that have solitude at home, because their home is their command center. And when they pray, it's where they plan, it's where they sharpen their spirit before stepping out into the world. You don't need to run to the club to feel alive. That's played out. You don't need a crowd to feel validated, because when you're aligned with God and your mission, being home feels like being in purpose. That's a man that's dangerous to the world's distractions, because he's no longer available for drama and chaos. Take a second to think about this. If you're uncomfortable being alone, ask yourself why. What's in that silence that scares you so much and makes you so anxious? What truth are you avoiding hearing from your own spirit within yourself? Because solitude doesn't expose weakness, it exposes truth. The truth about your habits, the truth about your thoughts, the truth about what you've been tolerating that you know you shouldn't stand for. And once you face these truths, the healing begins. That's where a man finds himself again, in that quiet, because God doesn't yell, he whispers. And most can't hear him because they're surrounded by noise. So slow down, sit still, listen. You'll be surprised at how much clarity you gain just from taking time to yourself. A man who loves staying at home isn't hiding, he's healing. He's working in silence. He's mastering his emotions. He's sharpening his vision. The world might call it boring, but that's because they confuse movement with progress. You're not missing out on anything, you're leveling up. Because when you master peace, you can't be manipulated. And when you master focus, you can't be distracted. That's the psychology of a man who loves staying at home. He's not stuck. He sets himself apart. He's building for something bigger, waiting on God's timing and preparing for the moment the world finally catches up to his discipline. If you can relate to this message tonight, do me a solid and drop me a comment and let me know that you're locked in. Tell me where you're tuning in from, because real ones move in silence, but we still recognize one another. And if you're in your stay at home phase and your stack season and your grind season, this one is for you. Keep building, keep healing, keep protecting your peace. Stay grounded, stay solid, stay real. All gas, no brakes. Lock in. Peace.